Okay, so in this problem, we are given the results of the survey where people were asked about their use of alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs. That gives us three categories. That's a three-circle Venn diagram. All right, let's first fill in the Venn diagram. So I've got my alcohol drinkers, cigarette smokers, and the drug users. All right. Okay. So as usual, always start with the innermost region. So that's the number of people who engaged in all three behaviors. So there's 97 of those people. We're going to put that number in the middle of the diagram. And then we can adjust the other ones. So we know that 119 smoked and used drugs. But once again, that's the numbers. That's obviously because of the keyword and. That's the overlap of the cigarette circle and the drug circle. So, but the 119 includes those 97 that also drank alcohol. So only 22. And how I got that 22, I took 119 and subtracted out 97. So only 22 just used drugs and smoked cigarettes. And I'm going to keep going from there. So the next number is 114 that drank alcohol and used drugs. So where do those two circles overlap? They overlap right here. That total is 114. So to know how many people just drank alcohol and did drugs, we would take 114, subtract 97, and get 17 right here. Okay. And then the next number is 424 that drank alcohol and smoked. Okay. So that, of course, represents overlap between alcohol and the cigarette circle right here. However, we need to adjust that number. So 424, subtract out 97, 327 people who just drank alcohol and smoked cigarettes without doing any drugs. All right. Next, we've got all the singular values. However, those need to be adjusted as well. Yes. All right. Oh, sorry. What we're left with is just to fill in the number of people who, for instance, just did drugs or just drank alcohol or just smoked cigarettes. However, what we're given is the totals for the drug users. So the total number of people who use drugs is 192. But that number, 192, includes 17 people who also did alcohol, the 22 people who also smoked cigarettes, and 97 who did all three things. So that 192, we need to subtract out 17 and 97 and 22. Be left with 56 who only did drugs. Right. Once again, what I did was to get that 56, I did 192, subtract out 17, the 97, and the 22, the other three regions that make up the drug circle. All right. Same thing for the cigarettes. So there's 665 people who smoked cigarettes. So that's the total. So if I add 1, 2, 3, 4, these four regions, that would give me the total of 665. However, to know how many people just smoke cigarettes without doing anything else, I would need to subtract 327, 97, as well as 22. Okay. 327, 97, and 22 leaves us with, face that, 219 people. All right, let's do one more for the alcohol drinkers. Okay, 894. So I'm going to have to adjust that number by subtracting 327 and 97 and 17. So again, the reason why I'm subtracting those three numbers is because those are the numbers that I've already placed inside the alcohol circle, which leaves me with 453, a number of people who just drank alcohol. Okay, so at this point, well, the last number that I have placed is the number of people who engaged in none of those behaviors. Of course, that number is going to go on the outside of the three circles. Okay, so what I'm going to do is at this point take a picture of our diagram, because we're going to use our diagram to answer some questions about it. So let's see. Okay, so I hope you have the diagram down. So let's see. So how many people were surveyed? Okay. So what I'm going to do to answer that question is I'm going to add basically all the numbers that I have placed in my diagram along with 309, that's the number of people on the outside. So what I'm adding right now is 453, 327, 219, then 17, then 97, 22, and 56. What is that? Well, that's the number of people who did one of those things. So it's 1,191. And if I add on the people who did none of those things, which is 309, it gives me 1,500 people. So 1,500 people surveyed. Right? Now, how many people drank alcohol or smoked cigarettes? So to answer that second question, I'm going to have to look at my alcohol circle and cigarette circle and basically add all the numbers inside those two circles. So what I'm going to add is 453, then 327, then 219, 17, 97, 22. That should give you 1,135. Okay, how many people use drugs only? I know that's 56 people. How many people drink alcohol regularly and smoke cigarettes but did not use drugs? So that's going to be in the intersection of alcohol and cigarettes, but minus those 97 people. So that was 327. Okay, the next question is how many people drank alcohol or used drugs but did not smoke. So to get that number, I would have to, so there's 453 people that drank alcohol. There are 17 people who did alcohol and drugs but did not smoke. And there's 56 people who just did drugs. I'm going to have to add those three numbers together. Get 526. 500. And how many people engaged in exactly two of these behaviors? Okay, that's going to be everyone sort of in the middle except the 97 people who did all three. So what I'm going to do is add 17 people who did alcohol and drugs, but not cigarettes. 327 people who did alcohol and cigarettes, no drugs, and then 22 who smoked, did drugs, but no alcohol. And that gives me 360 people. Okay. And then how many people engaged at least one of these behaviors? Well, at least means one or more. And since I know that there were 1,500 people surveyed and 309 did none of those behaviors, if I subtract 309 from 1,500, 1,191 people. All right, long problem. Yay. Good luck.